Hello, Dominators. We have another big patch or update that was released today, Dominations 5.3. And actually, there's quite a lot of significant changes, so I decided to give them a brief overview so that everyone, maybe also the ones in the lower ages, would see the changes that and how they impact the game, in my opinion. So, let's get right to the point. I think the biggest change was this building here, Stronghold. You can build actually the level 1 Stronghold right away with only one citizen, and it takes 5 minutes to build it, so you can basically finish it for free right away. And what is this Stronghold? So basically, this is now in the game to manage your troop tactics that you are getting from events or that you are purchasing. So we know very well that previously in war attacks, for example, some wallet warriors, for example, were able to spam very strong troops additionally to their regular troops. So that basically you were never aware of, is your base actually holding well or not against enemy forces, because if the enemy just spams some 50 additional bazookas to the battlefield, then of course it will overrun any opponent, no matter the base. So at the moment, or now, it's solved so that there is a stronghold building. This building actually acts also as a defensive building. It actually has a splash damage and a range of 8. So basically very close to the way mortar operates, just with a little bit less range. And of course the damage at the beginning is very weak, and I'm pretty sure it's somewhere from medieval age or even before that this building is actually at the moment coming from. So it needs a lot of development still to become useful. And at the moment, with the first level of Stronghold, you can only apply one troop tactic to your army. As you can see at the moment, I have no troop tactics. Previously, this screen was filled with troop tactics. You can see all of these troop tactics that I've collected over time. These were all spamming the battlefield or the selection field in every battle that you were. But now I think this is a good change, and also it helps a bit regular players versus wallet warriors in my opinion. So I really like this change. One thing that I don't like about this change is actually what you can see here. For example, Matt Space. He has Stronghold level 1, and you can now donate Stronghold or your troop tactics to your ally bases. And so this is just a very, very high element of pay to win. And I would like to think that Dominations needs to be more like pay to advance type of game, not pay to win, because in my opinion, the pay to win aspect can actually ruin the joy of the game in a longer run. Nevertheless, it's here, and probably will be utilized by the players who can afford troop tactics. I personally don't support this, and we will rarely put any troop tactics to our bases. So this is it, the Stronghold. Both good and bad sides to the Stronghold, in my opinion. The next big change with the update was actually your coalitions. And if you check now the war coalitions, first of all, the biggest change actually in the coalitions was that let me find my armory here. So if you can see the coalitions developments or upgrades. So previously, basically the first level of coalition already gave you 10% of bonus in Aztecs, for example. Now the level 1 only gives you 5%. Let me see where I have level 1. No, it seems I don't have any. Okay, here actually. So you can see here, level 1 is actually quite weak for Cherokee. Only 10% supply card healing and 5% barracks troops health. Now every upgrade gives you additional 5% of bonus. So it actually now makes sense to upgrade your coalitions. Previously, it just put so much extra cost in the national trade goods that it didn't just make any sense to upgrade them. Now it actually makes sense. And the one big other change was to Russian coalitions. Previously, the Russian coalition gave you level 1 Russian coalition gave you 1 additional forest defender. So 1 additional tank from the forest was spawning. So it was a bit lackluster. Now it actually gives additional health to your troop spawning buildings, garrison, tank depots, and bunkers. And I think the level 6 gives you 110% additional health to the defensive buildings. So this is quite significant and might cause additional spawns from your defensive troop spawning buildings. But let's go to the more interesting change. What you can see is every coalition now gives you also additional troops on the battlefield. All the offensive coalitions, Aztecs, Mongols, Cherokee, and Americans will give you additional troops to your attacking force in World War, while the defensive coalitions like Egyptians, Maori, Indians, and Russians give you defensive troops. And actually, you can check them out yourself, but we'll quickly run them through. So Eagle Warrior is actually your offensive troop that you will get. You will get actually 8 Eagle Warriors. And I think that the stats for these warriors probably will improve when you're upgrading your coalitions as well. We can see if it's described here as well or not. It doesn't say anything actually about this one, so we have to wait and see if the stats actually improve, because at the moment they don't seem that impressive. And this is actually now defensive troop, and it does 5 times damage versus soldiers. What is nice about it, it's actually fast moving, so maybe it gets a little bit of damage done, but all in all, your soldiers aren't your main troops anyway, so it doesn't seem that impressive. Mongols will get additional siege unit. So siege of 5, so basically same as a mortar. Sorry, same as mortars and officers. So can be useful, but the stats aren't that great. Maybe they will improve when you're upgrading your coalitions. Maori troops. Again, 5 times damage versus soldiers. So doesn't really seem significant to me. So both Egyptians and Maoris, it doesn't really change the battle in your defense. Cherokees, these are actually quite nice troops. They have very high damage and quite decent hit points as well. So they're basically like regular infantry as they're melee, but they have quite strong attacks. So might be useful, but not again big change. The most interesting troops are actually Indians, Urumi, and these actually what they do is splash damage to large area. We haven't seen any war attacks with these guys in action yet, so we will definitely post some of the videos as soon as possible from our first war to see how effective they are. And they have actually quite decent hit points as well, so it's extremely crucial to take these guys down especially fast. And then Americans, just some regular infantry, not a big deal. Again, quite useless units. Russians, T-34 tank, and this is actually quite interesting unit because it actually goes after the ranged siege units. So basically, it will spawn and try to hit your howitzers or whatever level they're upgraded for you. So looking forward if these guys can actually benefit in defense. And actually I'm using the Russian coalition, so let's hope for the best. That said, the next interesting change was actually university. We have a new great leader, Mansa Musa, and basically it's the same leader that we had Hiawatha, just only for the gold upgrades. What you can see is gold skill research cost, gold skill research time, and so on. Little bit of extra gold bonus as well, but other than that, and this one actually seems to be relevant as well. Supply convoy healing benefits. So upgrading this one, I might be able to reduce my supply cards from 3 to 2. Road cold income for me is also significant because the farms and caravans to me are something I'm not using because I don't have time to upgrade those, and the gold benefits and food benefits from them are a little bit or are insignificant, I would say. Then the gold skill research time, of course, is relevant, as is this one. So altogether, you can reduce 30% of research time if you develop it. And then, of course, one less citizens to develop university skills for gold research. So definitely something to go for. And it's good that it only uses, again, 2 citizens, so and quite small research times. So basically, if you're keeping 2 citizens to harvest your fruit trees and gold mines, then this is something you can do on the side quite easily. The next relevant change in the upgrade or dispatch was inventory improvements. So this inventory here is now nicely split into resources, buildings, blessings, combats, mercenary contract, for example, and miscellaneous. So the biggest impact now is that you can now collect buildings as well. So for example, now we have an event called and we can collect Ninja Dojo. I actually collected it way before, so I only have 2 days left. But for example, Matt collected it today and he was able to place it in the inventory. So you can decide whenever you want to place this building, and maybe together with other event buildings, so you're getting additional troop space through that. Then what we also got back in the blessings was trap blessing. This one was bugged after the 5.0 release and it didn't work properly. Now they have hopefully fixed it, and now it's back in the selection. So this is something I'm using as well on a regular basis. because the money you can save from reactivating the traps is quite significant. Then we have a War Academy upgrade. So where is my War Academy actually? This is the layout I'm actually not using daily basis. So here. So now you can upgrade your War Academy. So what does it mean actually is you can develop in the Armory at a higher level of tactics. For example, you can upgrade Sabotage to level 8 and it will give you 1 additional second of locking the enemy defensive structures. And I'm sure it applies to all the other tactics as well, but they're not upgraded to so high level for me yet. And one other important thing about the tactics, actually, Barrage and Demolition, they do now 85% less damage to town centers and storage buildings. So previously, when you had your oil full, so what you can see is actually, if you check my defense log, previously these guys would just come with 4 or 6 demolitions and would take away 5,000 oil. This time, this guy used 4 demolitions and only got 280 oil. So you can see here, it doesn't do anything. So this guy probably hadn't read the patch notes yet, so he's just wasting his demolitions without any result. So he's getting what? 4 demolitions and only 280 oil. Well, he got a bit from here as well. So 269 oil from the oil refinery and a little bit of oil also from the oil wells. So basically he's just wasted a lot of troops for no result. So that is definitely very welcomed change that I love. The next important change in your defense in war base especially is you can now upgrade your barbed wire to level 9 and it will give 2% additional slow and damage reduction. And you can also upgrade your landmines, and this is quite significant, 4,800 additional damage from all the landmines. So landmines got a very big buff while barbed wire got a little bit, but no upgrade actually for the ambush traps. Another trap that got an additional level was actually SAM battery, and very significant change. 500 additional damage to SAM batteries, taking into account also that there was one change regarding Versailles. Previously, Versailles was giving or gave also additional 11% health to my air units, but now they fixed it so that Versailles doesn't give additional HP anymore to the air units. So these fighter planes will fall very fast now to the SAM batteries if they're upgraded to level 5. This is something to keep in mind. Much more dangerous to fly around on enemy bases now. One interesting change what you can do now is also that you can actually now control what troops you get in your war base. Previously, maybe in the lower level alliances, where the low level players just randomly donated troops to the war bases. Now you can actually dismiss the troops that you don't want. These are actually perfect troops for me, so I would not dismiss them. But you can do it now, and that's a good thing. So all in all, I think we have actually covered most of the relevant changes, but I left the best to the last. What you can now get is So I left the best to the last. So now spending 1000 crowns, you can get the second slot in your blacksmith or armory. So using 1000 crowns, let's test it out. Okay. So let's see if we can upgrade something. Whoa, okay. Can we do this? Yes, we can. So this is a one-time investment, and you can now simultaneously develop two things. And as you can see, this one we cannot do because now we need to finish the upgrade that would finish faster. So very welcome change again, because for over time they have released so many additional upgrades, factory, air units, coalitions, additional tactics to develop, so as well as additional troops. So this one armory, one slot upgrade just wasn't able to manage to keep the base up. So very good. Now we can actually start developing the much needed upgrades. What I wanted to actually test for you guys is actually the Stronghold troop tactics. So if we add one of these troop tactics now to the army, first of all, let's check if we do a battle and we don't use these troop tactics, is it still kept in the inventory? I sure hope it is. Seems like a good base. What can we do with our 4 infantry? Nothing. At least they will earn back their cost of food. So what you can see here is actually the troop tactic is nicely intact. But another more important thing is that if we would like to actually put this troop tactic back to our stronghold, is it possible? And luckily it is. You can see that I had 3 camel catapult before and then activated one, and now I deactivated it and it went back to my stronghold. So everything makes sense, luckily. So that's about it. Thanks for listening and good luck in the new interesting way of battling in the war.